Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and with me is Kyle Lewis. Kyle, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling all right. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, listen, I'm not as feeling as good as Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So breaking news, Janelle Grant and him have agreed to take the case into arbitration. That does not mean that Vince is innocent or guilty. It just means that whatever else happens is in private. And it'll probably be a settlement for Grant. The internet was upset because the internet wanted him to go to jail because, as you do know, everyone goes to jail at the end of a civil case.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it hasn't been confirmed yet. I know they asked, but probably by the time of this podcast, we'll know for sure. They
no, I
asked
know, but
to
the funniest, like, he's not going to like it's a civil case. He's not. He doesn't go to jail at the end of it. Doesn't matter.
no, people like him don't go to jail. It's
But I mean, civil cases, you don't go to jail even if you're a poor person. So.
no. Well, there you go.
Yeah, civil cases, civil cases. So I know Reddit was very upset. He was supposed to go to jail, and it's like, well, even if she won the case all the way and it was in public,
Yeah.
he wouldn't go to jail. Or just he would owe more money than so here, I guess my thing is he probably agreed to an amount that she finally everybody has a price. But I mean like that's literally the only outcome of a civil case anyway.
Yeah.
So he probably set a price that she was okay with. Right now they're gonna handle it in private, which is what was gonna happen, more or less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he two lawsuits this week. I know he had another one that just kind of they went away is the non-correct term for it, but his other lawsuit like disappeared also.
Yes. Yes, and he probably lost all these lawsuits because he's also probably losing, according to the rumor mill, and this got picked up from everyone. Because CM Punk is leaving, supposedly according to the internet. CM Punk has had enough of WWE. He wanted to win at WrestleMania and he didn't. And he wanted AJ Lee to win and pin everyone, and she didn't. So he's going to go back to AEW. The door is always open, according to Jordan Ross Sapp, for him to go back to AEW. So everyone assumed that he was leaving, and then more reports came out that he was just taking a break because he was like working nonstop since summer of 2024. But everyone thought he was going to leave for AEW, and they didn't want him in AEW. But it was just it's crazy to me. Like the guy who like mainly reported on this is like a faceless account to Becky Lynch had to get
Yeah.
restraining orders. And they just because it's something that sounds great if you're a CM Punk hater, a lot of big accounts took this as well. It's gospel because, and I mean, the reality I think is that like the reality I see is that CM Punk um went nonstop. He was in the main event. He lost the main event, and there's no need for him right now. And he needs a break because he does have fragile body, fragile mind, and if you put him, see, here's the thing: when you put guys in matches that don't matter, you bring their risk of injuring themselves. So while it'd be nice to have CM Punk feud with Ethan Page on Saturday Night's Main Event, you don't really need it. So he's taking a break. But man, I was like running around doing spots. It was crazy to me the big accounts that like just went with this. Like this is actually what's happening. What did you think of CM Punk leaving WWF during the week and then he and going back to AEW of course. And then he did.
I mean, everything just kind of blew up so fast, and none of it, as of now, doesn't mean anything. It's nothing that nothing happened. The only thing that I thought might have been the speculation was that he got suspended for whatever the heck he did with the fighting people, the guys who were taking photos, or the guy whose phone he destroyed. He threw somebody's phone, in Vegas. So the only thing I thought would come out was like, hey, they had to suspend him because blah blah blah. Outside of that, I didn't think he was leaving. I didn't think it just didn't make any sense for him to. One of the rumors was he tried to take Triple H's spot on creative. He was politicking to win the main event. That didn't work out. He walked out of the show. Um, it was just a bunch of. I think people were just really, really bored and they really wanted more chaos. I just saw a lot of people be like, "Oh, it'd be so fun." They don't even want him back. They just thought it'd be so funny for CM Punk to leave, tuck his tail between his legs, and go back to AEW. So that's what just people were kind of wanted, but because they hate the WWE so much. And look, there's a lot to hate, but it was just a weird, weird day and a half. Because then even after the rumors were dispelled, people were still mad about it and being like, "That's not gonna happen." It's like I don't know. It just like, people were very, very bored, and it's a great example of how fast rumors spread with no real information and no fact checking and no sources. And I don't want to shit on Sean Ross Sapp and those guys because they find stuff and I don't need a tweet about me. But they could have easily dispelled it them like right away, but everyone wanted to wait and get their clicks in and I guess get their money. That's their job. But it's just crazy. It was just crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And it was like Sean Ross goes, next tomorrow we're gonna have updates. And the update was he's not going anywhere. And it's like, well, you could have just wrote that on Tuesday
Yeah,
night. But
people spent $5 on that.
you want, and I don't think a lot of them like CM Punk. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, CM Punk, I'll tell you, I was in a wrestling, I'm not gonna say with who, but I was in a wrestling what do they call it? Chat room?
Yeah,
Or those guys did not like CM Punk, and they would like get angry about CM Punk. And like I remember, it's like, oh, it's so stress when he pushed Jack. Oh my God, so stressful. He's making the things up. What do you mean stressful? I said we don't work with this guy. Who cares? I don't care. Like, bro, I don't care if on Monday CM Punk goes to the back and takes like a food tray and like hits Prichard over the head with it. That's funny to me. I don't have to work with the guy. I don't have to deal with the after effects of that happening. I don't have to deal with like the human resource meeting that TKO is going to make them have. Like
yeah,
it's just funny to me. It doesn't affect me, and it's like when people he has this effect on people, which is very, especially the AEW people, which is very very funny and weird. I mean, I saw people on Blue Sky being like, "Well, he should never go back to AEW. They should let him back." He was the number one figure seller by a wide margin in AEW, and whatchamacallit, he was making significant amount of money for them in the toy market and other things. And now that they're not making toys anymore. The license is over.
no,
So yes, Tony Khan should hire him if he's available. The guy prints money. The problem with a lot of fans of Blue Sky Red is these are people who don't spend any money, and you can't listen to them. You know?
yeah. No, I mean that's one of those things. Like these guys are gonna work. This is their job. This is their comedy club. This is their day job. Like if you get banned from Gotham, but you're not banned from the stand, you're not gonna stop. You're not gonna. But you had beef at the stand. You're gonna go back to the stand, and they're gonna put you on as long as they don't. You're not banned everywhere. But it's just like if John Cena left tomorrow, like of course you want to make a deal with him. That's just like what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you not want to make a deal with CM Punk, especially with so much money left on the table? Adam Page could have used it. The Bucks could have used it. Kenny Omega. You have a built-in feud with at least five people. The whole elite thing that you could go back to with Jungle Boy. I mean, obviously none of this is happening, but with Jungle Boy, Adam Page, the Buck, Kenny Omega, and everyone could make money together, which according to Punk was one of his original plans until they didn't want to work with him. But it's I don't understand. I think people get really, really tribalistic on both ends. People want to
Yes.
act like it's one end, but it is both ends. And it really depends on what your feed is like. Because I see more pro WWE, anti AEW people, and I see other people who are pro AEW, anti WWE people. I think
The
that's
Blue Sky
right.
AEW fans just have no sense of. I mean, they're like the NBA should have Lilo Rush, not Danhausen, and I'm just like, that's not going to happen. That's not.
No.
They're not.
AEW has been it was very funny. They had their not the actual segment, but the Chris Jericho Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know if you heard about it. They
Hmm.
kick off the show and Jericho's calling him Tom. He's calling him like Tommy. And he's like, "Don't call me Tommy." He's calling him Tommy, and the crowd's chanting Tommy. It was very, very sports entertaining. Very, very, and they didn't like it. At least the people on Twitter didn't. But it was just a very sports entertainment thing. Leo Rush getting involved in like the Orange Cassidy Andrade match, is a very sports entertainment thing. And if you want to have sports entertainment, that's fine. But it just was very not AEW based off what they are known for. It was not.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, they had another thing that people got furious about, and this was around Ring of Honor. It was the Iconics inspiration against Mina Shirakawa and Harley Cameron, and they pretty much did like a boob shake off, like you know how Mina Shirakawa shakes her chest, and then oh my God, Cassie Lee, shook hers back, and they just did that for like 30 seconds, and you would have thought the world ended with the way some people were reacting. It was 30 seconds out of like a 5 minute match, and you would have thought these girls shaking the not even big boobs, but shaking the chests that they have against each other was the worst thing you've ever seen in wrestling history. It's just- I don't know. People just choose these hills. Everything's a hill. There's not, like chick pick your hill to die on. Every hill is a hill to die on. When it comes to wrestling online, every hill, they make the hills, they die on the hills for everything. There's nothing unturned. Every little thing that happens is a giant hill that someone's willing to die on.
Well, I mean, the Iconics were great sports entertainers, and
Yeah.
they got really mad that they were hired by AEW. They were livid that AEW hired them, and I just the way these AEW fans are, and the way you're not going to develop Danhausen the way WWF has developed Danhausen, where he's probably going to be in a Knicks parade.
Hmm.
If they win, they're going to win. He's probably going to be in the freaking parade, and it's like you can't put a number on that, and not everybody can be Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Chris Benoit. Like, especially nobody should be Chris Benoit right now. But what I'm saying
I
is,
hope not.
I hope not. But what I'm saying is, not everybody can be like, I'm the best wrestler. You got to have some silly guys to make it work more when your Will Osprey wins the belt. If everybody has the same character as Will Osprey, then it takes away from when he wins the big one at Wembley in a few weeks or whatever.
That was
Um,
actually something that I saw it on Dynamite this week, and the fans, some fans, uh, were really upset about it. He was doing his backstage promo like, "I won, I won, I won," and his wife lost to Mercedes Moné, who returned. Alex Windsor, as she likes to yell. Um, so Osprey's talking, and then he stops talking because she like runs and burrows her head into his chest, and then he gets quiet and he just like hugs her. And I actually like that kind of character development between the both of them. I was like, that's a really nice moment between the two of them. He's at the highs right now. She's on a big low, and it reminds you that like they're human and it's a little bit of an embrace, a little extra side to both of them. And apparently, these fans ran Windsor off of Twitter because they hated it so much. She had to deactivate. And it's just like, what, dude? It's another thing, it's 15 seconds. And you're so upset about this. They got mad at her and they got mad at the woman, Maya World, who replaced Saray in the tournament, who was injured. She wasn't cleared. Japan cleared her. America was like, nope, not touching that. And Maya World, before she lost her brother, hope she's doing well. They put her in the tournament and kind of have a little bit of story about it. She won the wrestle despite her brother passing away. Instead of being with family, she just want to get back out there in the ring and do what she does best. And she wins the match. And apparently these fans were mad at her too. It's like what do you want? What do you want? I don't understand what people like. Are you just being assholes to be assholes? What do you fucking
yeah,
want?
that's what they're doing. Yes.
Ugh, it's just disgusting.
Yeah, it's just I Nick Khan and people got mad. I don't, but you should we don't listen to the internet, and they got really mad. Oh, they got really mad. Sean Ross Sapp was like, no, they did change the plans for WrestleMania, and it's like, no, it's time. This is what I would say. Anybody running a wrestling, like, just don't pay attention to these people. You don't pay attention to these people because when you acknowledge your pick, you can be like, if everyone said that segment sucked, then you and your bookers are like, you know what, maybe fucking Ding Dong on the internet has a point. That segment did stink, but you don't publicly acknowledge like, oh yeah, you're right, that segment sucked, because half the time they don't really know, and it's like you can't if you give these people like validation, they just get worse. They get worse because then they know they have a pipeline to bother you, and you can't let and in particular, a lot of the rah rah AEW fans don't really know what draws money and draws new viewers, and they're clueless. And it's just like, yeah, that Will Ospreay thing with Alex Windsor, I think that's great. I think that adds character development. It's 20 seconds of the fucking show.
Yeah,
He needs to appear like a human being. He doesn't come across as a human being. He comes across as a robot who thinks he's better than everyone in WWE. That's what he comes across as half the time. You know, the guy like lands on his neck and then doesn't sell it, and that's what he and it's like weird. So yeah, it's good that he's showing it. He's training with the mocks. He's hugging
yeah,
his wife. It's good that all this stuff is happening. But you know, I just don't know. Like, there's no money in 7 years of Will Ospreay being I'm the best, and fucking Kyle Fletcher goes, no, actually I'm the best, and you do that for 7 years. There's just no money in that.
yeah.
Eventually, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see when. I mean, if we gotta say if he wins, Swerve might win. There's a whole rumor that Kenny Omega might win somewhere in between, and then it's gonna be Swerve and Omega, which I'd rather personally. And call me stupid. I'd rather Osprey MJF, not Swerve and Omega. It was gonna be Omega Osprey. I'd rather Osprey MJF. MJF, I think has more of a character. I get the history. MJF has more of a character. MJF in London in Osprey's hometown. I think you could have some fun with that. But not that I won't be upset if it's Kenny Omega, but I would prefer in terms of a story. I think you could tell a better story, worldwide story, with these two instead of this like New Japan stuff. Which someone would get really mad for me for dumbing it down that way. But MJF is your guy. MJF is your character. MJF is your guy that could hold the belt for 2 months and then lose it in a month and then get it back, and you won't think twice about it because he's just that kind of a villain. So that's where I hope it goes. I could be wrong. Could be a triple threat. I don't know. We have a couple months away from All In, and we'll find out. But hopefully there's character development because they have stuff. They have the Andrade thing, which I know if WWE had the Andrade, how you know, he would be everywhere. He would be everywhere. There'd be 800 shirts. There would be like the how you know dancers. They're probably kicking themselves that he didn't say that in front of them. Didn't have a good time there. They still have Orange Cassidy. They have the conglomerate. They have like characters and things that can draw people in, more new fans in. I just don't know what the disconnect is personally. But that's not my job to know.
I mean, disconnect is that for me is that everyone involved in AEW, the fans and the wrestlers, come across as giant fucking losers. So I do something else like
The fans do also turn like they were like last week they hated Tekla. Tekla had a promo and she spits on the Stardom thing and they're like, you know what was never good? Tekla. I was like, 3 weeks ago you guys were like obsessed with her, and now
okay, Thekla,
like
Thekla is they overrated her from day one. That's the other thing too. It's like not everybody that's good is like the next Rock. Like, bro, I saw some guy. This is like a guy who's like works for the Wrestling Observer, arguing that like Tony Storm was the next Rock, and the next like legit like she's the best character since the Rock, and it's like, come on, man, like stop. Like I like Chad Gable right now. I'm not being like Chad Gable is the next Hulk Hogan. Like it's just
oh
that's
some people think Chad Gable should go to WrestleMania like and win the title
Chad Gable
right
definitely
now.
deserves a title shot at some point on out there.
Yeah.
But he's not the next Hulk Hogan. That's not fair. He's the first Chad Gable, and it's like arguing people that Tony Storm is like are you actually have you rewatched 1998 WWF? Have you heard the reactions of people? Like we're not you're not getting that with Tony Storm. No one cares. okay, people that watch AEW care about Tony Storm, and I'm not saying she's not talented, but overall in the world, the world doesn't care about Tony. The world, the universe, the WWF universe, the world in general doesn't care about Tony Storm. She's not the next Rock. She's the first Tony Storm, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
She was not the next Fabulous Moolah. She was on her own. She was a new thing, and that's great. And look how much fun we're having watching her develop in 1998. But you can't be like, well, Sable's the next Moolah. Well, no. First of all, she's not pimping out her students, so she's not.
No, not one bit. But
So,
yeah, no, I said not one bit. But
yeah. So,
people are obsessed with that. They like I think I said this before. They don't allow themselves to be in that moment ever. Like even when John Cena turned heel, fans were like, "This is our Hulk Hogan. This is our Hulk Hogan." Even when Bray Wyatt died, they're like, "This is our Owen Hart." Like some of these newer fans, not the older ones who were lived it, but they don't allow themselves to be in a moment, be with an emotion. They have to compare it to something else, and instead of just being like, "Okay, this is mine, and this is this person, and this is that person." The comparison, and this is with everything. It's not just wrestling, but, games, movies, things
oh
like
yeah,
that.
it's always better. It's like this is better than this thing that you liked 30 years ago. Well, but it's not. But it's good for what it is. But if you try to tell me that like this is better than the thing that saved the business, then it's like, well, then now I can't take you or this thing seriously. So this, and I
A lot of
I can't believe the number of old people who do that. The number of old people who are like for example, like I love the Lucha Mask. I said it's the best WWF match of the 2020. Can I
people lost their mind.
can I say it's better than some of the takeover matches of the 2010s? Can I say that it's better than some of the WrestleMania matches of the 2000s? Or can I even say it's better than some of Shawn Michaels' matches in the 90s? I don't think I can say that. But I can
Mm,
certainly say it's better than anything I've seen in the 2020s. And it's like,
yeah.
but people will just be like, well, this was the best WWF match ever. And it's like, no, but it wasn't. It was good. And you've actually taken away from what Kaiser and Gable did by trying to argue with me that it's better than Savage Steamboat. I can't take you seriously as a human being. And quite frankly, you should be arrested. So
Hopefully, don't arrest them for that. But yeah, people were really got up in arms about the match. I got 5.75 stars in the Meltzer rating, and people started to shun the match immediately. They're like, "There's no way it's that good." Because it came from WWE. AJ Styles got it this week too, because he was just like, he was look, you gotta take the good with the bad. When TKO sucks, it sucks. When they're good, they're good. You have to give them their credit when they're good. And then everyone took the one little quote about him saying like, "Don't yell at TKO," and went crazy about it instead of reading the whole thing. But it's just I don't know. It's just a mess. It's always a mess.
it's just
Uh,
I mean, again, it's just people not honestly believing that Vince McMahon's going to go to jail in a civil trial. It's just you don't have any. You don't even know. You don't. I don't know. It's like thinking. I don't know. It's like thinking that because I don't know, like fucking, let's say like Sabrina Carpenter gets banned from the Grammy because she's gonna get the death penalty next. I don't understand why she doesn't have the that's not how this chain of events work. Like, it's just like you want to argue and you want to have a point and you just don't even know the fact. It's like arguing that 2 + 2 = 5. It's like you want to sit on the internet, you want to argue about wrestling, but you don't even know how things work.
and
Vince
you're
McMahon,
also just so rude about it. Like
and
if
they're
someone
rude.
doesn't agree with somebody, and like, well, I'd expect that from an AEW fan. I expect that from a Fed
People,
fan.
people were getting mad at people in the comment section of Squared Super Reddit when people were like he wasn't going to go to jail. It's a civil trial. They got mad at the person saying that, and it's like, but he was. It's a civil trial. You don't even know what you're talking about when you're arguing about this case. And then another person like tried to explain that like Brock Lesnar like wasn't gonna go to jail. He was just named. He might have been a witness. He probably might still be a witness. And they got mad at it. That person like you're defending a sexual predator like Brock Lesnar. Is like, no, this is just the facts of the case. He's not gonna go to jail. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's why he's back. They saw that there was no wrongdoing to there's nothing to really call him on. Whether you agree with it or not. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar, but whether you agree with it or not, there was no
I don't.
wrongdoing based on their based on their lawyers, and that's why he's back and he's It's just derailing Obafemi's momentum.
But
So
that's why I think like you can't like get mad at these people like that you know if you're a wrestler and you're on the show and they're mad that you hugged Alex Windsor in the backstage, you can't even acknowledge them because like these people like they don't know that 2 + 2 = 4. They're arguing with you that it equals 5. So it's like I can't have a discussion with you. I have to move on with my life.
no,
You know?
you're right. I don't I really don't understand the hug, like disliking the hug. Like that
Mhm.
was that got me. I was like that I don't know. Like I said, I don't know
What
what
is
people are
something?
looking
Oh,
for.
somebody on Threads argued with me, so I was upset that the She-Ra 2010 cartoon isn't on DVD. And he said to me, 99% of every movie ever made is on streaming. So why are you bitching? And I said, it's not. And he said, it is. And it's just not. It's not. And I just blocked him. I said, I can't. I said to him, I can't argue with you if you're going to argue a fantasy point. At that, I can also argue the dragons are real. And I'm going to ride one and get the She-Ra DVD. Like 99% of most movies ever made are not available on DVD on streaming or
You
DVD.
know what they mean by stream? They mean like you go to like cartoonlove.org net
No, he
and
meant
sit through all the Family Guy
on
porn.
Netflix and Amazon that
Oh, is it?
99% of
Oh,
everything was available.
oh yeah. Well, no, they delisted it. It's nowhere.
Yeah, I can't. So it's like I'm not going to. You just made up a number, and you're fighting with me based on a made up number. So I'm not going to engage with you. And I've had it a few times on Threads where it's like you're arguing a made up point, so I'm just going to block you. Like I'm not going to talk to you anymore because,
Yeah.
and that's my thing with a lot of these fans. It's like okay, I
You
can't.
you would have to buy them on YouTube, it looks like, or
Yeah,
Fandango at home, which is a
it's
great
not the whole.
service,
It's only
but
26. It's only 26 episodes, not 52. Which
that's crazy. Yeah, you don't even have the full thing. Yeah, you
yeah.
gotta get the first three seasons on Fandango.
Yeah, season 4 or 5 are missing everywhere. I think
Yeah,
it's because
which is ridiculous. I wonder if the
you
Grassy
know,
Next
every
class is
other
available.
man Shira show is on DVD. But you know what? You know what's not on DVD? But you know what? And then here, so just but 99% of all media is available for streaming. Not this fucking thing. World War III 98. So you're already wrong. World War III 98 not available to stream anywhere. Um,
Used to be.
yeah, it was, but it's not anymore. And that's the show we're talking about. It's the World War III 1998. Overall, Kyle, what do you think of this show?
It was there. Like it just kind of was there. I mean, Bret Hart DDP. I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about that. I thought the match, while a little slow, was good. They really tried hard with Bobby Duncombe Jr. to get him to kind of look like a star because
Yeah,
Jericho. Some of it based on just watching this month to month, I'm exhausted by some of the feuds. Like Rick and Scott, even though they didn't have like a match, I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. We've been looking at this since February. So things like that and weird choices with Saturn and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that a little more. Kidman, Juventud, no notes.
mhm.
But yeah, it was just there. It was just there.
Yeah. It was a weird show, and I think the thing about it is that like I know all these old guys are jealous of Goldberg. Goldberg comes out twice in the show,
Oh
and
yeah.
he gets a bigger reaction than anything that is going on by far. And at one point, Nash and Luger and I think Rick are standing in the ring and Hall. I know they were like this. We will not let this stand. We're going to shut this down. I know that there was resentment. I mean, uh, they had something with Goldberg, and there's the rationale that Nash gives right around here's where he gets the book. The rationale Nash wants to give about beating him, and anyone, I don't. There's no rationale to what they do in a month. You were all jealous of him. That's just the
Yeah.
way it is. You were jealous of him because he got a reaction like these Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and you couldn't take it. You couldn't take it. You could not take it. You were jealous, and it didn't matter if the company went out of business. You were going to prove a point to him and the fans, and that's what they do. And now we got to listen to people
Uh,
about Will Ospreay because of that. So
I mean, I think he'd still be in the picture regardless. He seemed to be hell bent on being a wrestler, so I don't think we would have lost him.
it just kind of like WCW shutting down kind of ruined wrestling for a little bit, and
Yes.
and it's just like there was no need. But yeah, this show does have some weird. This is the crazy thing is that like you get to Kinman Juventud, it's the best match I think on all three shows. Talking about
Yeah,
Survivor Series, November to Remember, in this one.
yeah,
So it's like you still have the talent to turn this around, and you're just not. You're just not. You just refuse to exploit the people. Well, let's get into it because I mean, all of these problems start with the first match on the show. Okay, first match of the show: Glacier versus Wrath. Now, at this time, Wrath was finally over. Glacier wasn't. In the past, it was Glacier was the good guy, Wrath was the bad guy. People are really into Wrath. When he comes out, people are into him. The announcers treat him like
yeah,
a deal. And Wrath wins. Wrath wins. It's and he pins Glacier clean, and the crowd loves it. It's time to get him the fuck out of here, Glacier. And the
yeah,
crowd loves it. Wrath wins, and you think this is leading to something. The next night on Nitro, or maybe a week from now on Nitro, Nash squashes Wrath, and that's it. And that's it.
what
And
terrific.
but it's like, so here you have something. You've actually created something in Wrath, and you ignore it, and you dismiss it for Nash. And so this match was fine. This was a good opening match, but we've been watching them build Wrath now for 2 months, and the crowd is buying it. They're actually doing a good job, and they're building it up just so they can throw it away, which to me is
Yeah.
like that is insane. But yeah, overall, not a bad match, but not a great match. What do you think of Wrath versus Glacier?
It's fine. It's interesting to see the roles reversed. Not even, I think at the beginning of the year they were still facing each other. Mortis, Raph, Glacier, all that whole thing. When we were watching in 90, I want to say at the beginning of the year they were still in this feud.
Mhm.
But and now they're in different role. Like most of the Sub-Zero stuff isn't really like a thing anymore. Like he still has like I mean like he's wearing like shorts, not shorts, but like a singlet instead of like the long pants and stuff. So like it's different to see their like character transitions. The Raph just seems like a big mistake. I don't know, like you said, it was jealousy, or they just didn't want another Goldberg, or what? Because Brian Clark was still relatively young. They
Mhm.
just they were building up somebody and they just dropped him. So it's very disappointing. The match was fine, but Raph's tenure very disappointing, and not because of him.
Yeah, no, no. I think they were building him up to say that Nash can destroy a Goldberg, and like if you like we're not
Yeah,
going to Goldberg because Nash just they build it up so Nash can look cool. That's we have a
yeah.
video package about Bret Hart cutting these shitty promos about Benoit, Luger, Booker T, DDP. Again, we're gonna get more into Bret at the end of the year, but the year in and he's not doing much. What do you think of this little promo package?
That was fine. It's not that hype up the main event. You don't really get a lot of Bret Hart promo packages. Something that just kind of make Bret Hart seem tougher than he is, more of a main eventer than he is. He is a main eventer, but he's not at this point in time. He's just kind of floundering around. But I liked it.
Yeah, up next, it's the Battle of the Wolf Pack in NWO Hollywood. It's Stevie Ray versus Conan. This just shows you the fumes this NWO stuff was going on at this time. I mean, these guys are trying. They have a basic match, but it's really bad. I'll tell you, the finish is atrocious. Stevie Ray gets hit by Vincent by mistake, and then Conan hits a finisher, and people go nuts. They want Conan to pin him and win, and then Conan just gets disqualified, and the crowd is just like, "What the fuck?" They were into Conan. They wanted Conan to get the win. This is a layup. And Booker T comes out, and Stevie Ray's mad at him, and that's just the only time you see Booker T was the World War III Battle Royal. Again, this match was not a good. I mean, they're doing everything right, but in slow motion in terms of like they're telling a sufficient story, but then they just fuck up the finish again. And people just go back to not giving a shit. And I was like, all right, this was a waste of time. What do you think?
No, I agree. I could go my whole life without, and no, and I hope Conan's doing well, Conan. Without seeing a Conan versus Stevie Ray match. That seems like when they had the when somebody has momentum, whether you like Conan or not, when someone has momentum, WCW does a really terrible job of capitalizing on them and making multiple stars instead of the like two or three that they have. People really liked Conan. People liked the Conan, the Bowdy Bowdy Rowdy Rowdy. They liked all that stuff. And Stevie Ray, I don't know what they're hard on was for Stevie Ray that year. But like, why not just give him the win, especially with the match laid out the way it was, and then maybe Booker T could have came out after. You could have done the same thing with Conan getting the win, but instead you chop down his momentum, and they just between this and Raph, it's like what are you doing? Do you want to make stars or no? I guess the answer was no.
Well, the I think the answer is no, based on the next match. This next match, I couldn't. I couldn't believe this next match. This next match is Sonny Ono and Ernest Miller versus Kaz Hayashi and
Yeah,
Bro, I have been saying watching the show. Bischoff still talks very highly of Sonny Ono. And the fact I'm just gonna say this, I would say this, Eric Bischoff. The fact that you still think Sonny Ono added anything, and I mean anything, to the show, shows me that this company was doomed to fail, no matter what you did. Sonny Ono is one of the main factors in why I think WCW failed. Let me explain that, because the
please.
fact that Eric Bischoff doesn't understand this guy shouldn't have been on TV, let alone be on TV this many years at this point, tells me you don't know what you're doing. Tells me that you stumbled into all your success. By 1998, Sonny Ono should be working a car lot as a car salesman. He shouldn't be on television, but he is, and he's pinning Perry Saturn. After the year that Perry Saturn had, where he's proven that he can get over, he stopped the flock. Raven's not even on this show, and you have Sonny Ono pinning him. It's one thing to have Ernest Miller pin him. Maybe I can kind of argue that that's okay because Ernest Miller eventually matters. But Sonny Ono, why would you have Sonny Ono? Like, it's just like, why is this guy still on TV? Why is he wrestling? Why is he? Why are you wasting? Hey, you have hundreds of wrestlers. You have Bobby Eaton rotting away in the back, and you have 60 wrestlers in the back, and Sonny Ono gets like a match. This was horrible. And the other thing is, I'm watching this. I forgot that Sonny Ono pinned Saturn. I'm like, this is probably when the Radicals decided to leave. This is probably one of the first times they had a discussion about leaving. How the fuck? How the fuck do you get pinned by Sonny Ono and not think to yourself? I bet you Vince McMahon. Maybe Vince McMahon is going to have me bark like a dog. I'd rather bark like a dog than get pinned by Sonny Ono. What do you think of that? I actually think it'd be more humiliating if you go back in time and instead of fucking her barking like a dog, they have Sonny Ono pin Trish in a match. I think that's more humiliating. I think it's more degrading, and I think that should be added to the Janelle Grant lawsuit. That she got pinned by
Okay.
Sonny Ono.
Oh,
It's embarrassing. No, I think it's better for Trish Stratus to bark like a dog than to get pinned by Sonny Ono because he has no talent. He's an utterly he's Eric Bischoff's drinking buddy who has no talent. He has no talent. He is the equivalent of a comic who should not be getting spots. Horrible match. I hated this, and this probably is what led to the Radicals leaving, which destroyed the undercard. What do you think?
no. I definitely don't have as much problem with Sonny Ono as you do, but I do think that was a big mistake to have Saturn, who, like you said, invested a lot of time and energy in, and again, building a star, lose even underhandedly to Sonny Ono. Like Ernest Miller, like you said, you can understand, and I can understand that too, because they're trying to push Ernest Miller, whether you like him or not. But Sonny Ono, there's no reason. I don't know the heat of this feud, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of heat where you like
There's
where the
no heat.
manager would get over. Yeah, like if Don Callis pinned Will Ospreay now, or
Oh, that's
Speedball
tough.
Mark Bailey, one of those things. Yeah, then you're like, what the fuck? Oh, you're mad. This is just a waste of time. It was a waste of Saturn's time. It was a waste of Kaz Hayashi's time. Waste of Ernest Mill. Everyone's time was wasted here. And Saturn is another guy that look you could have really had a solid roster. This is something I wanted to say before. We talked about for most of this year how the WCW undercard is better than the WWF undercard, and they have the tools, and it's just not, past couple pay-per-views, it's just not showing. And I think this is the trend downward for the next couple years that we'll be watching these shows. But like it's just not showing, and you have the
Well,
tools, and it's very, very frustrating.
I mean, yeah, we get right to the next match, and here's Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, and Billy Kidman. So first of all, let's put into consideration what Ray and Eddie did a year ago. They got no reward for it. They got nothing out of it. Now we have the LWO, which the WWF is still okay. Credit where credit is due. I think Terry Taylor came up with the NWO, LWO. They're still selling that shirt. That shirt still looks badass. I'm looking at that shirt. I'm like, whoever designed that was a fucking genius. That's an
Is it the
incredible
same
shirt.
girl?
Yeah, somebody, yeah, somebody designed it. And so the match, so Juventud is it with the LWO. Rey Mysterio gets mad and he says, "Oh no, it's okay." I say, and Juventud and Billy Kidman have the match. It's a great match. My only problem with it is that why would Ray wait this long to interfere? But he does. Juventud get pinned by Kidman, and then Ray quits the LWO. The LWO goes after him, but he's already out. Um, but yes, but this is what frustrates me more about the Sonny Ono thing and the match even before that is that yeah, you have the talent. You have Eddie Guerrero doing nothing. You have Rey Mysterio doing nothing. You have the talent to put on a great show. They're there, and you're not doing anything with them to build up Sonny Ono. And it's like, and then you let these two, Juventud and Billy Kidman, have a match, and you're like, oh, everything is all the pieces are still there. It's not like they all left. Everyone's
Yeah.
just is there. So you can like put on great shows and you're just choosing. You are actively, you are sitting there and making active choices to not have a good show. Because this was awesome. This was so good. This was such this is you gotta go find this match and watch it somehow. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you gotta find it. It's such a good match, and up until the finish, and it's like, well, this could be the whole fucking show. This could be the whole fucking show, and you just like, nah, Sonny Ono. What do you think?
No, I love the match. Sonny Ono's really getting it today. You'll be happy to know that Sonny Ono retired about a year later. So it was all for nothing.
I hope it was Vince Russo, bro. You gotta go, bro.
It was, I mean, it started the discrimination lawsuit that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
did
Well, the
because
guy, the guy. I would have just he discriminated in my eyes that I have to keep looking at this guy.
you don't want to say that. Careful. People are gonna
Mm.
think you hate
Not
the
racist.
race.
I listen. He just has no talent. I mean, Mr.
No,
Fu.
I know that. You like we were just talking about the way people were talking. No, Mr. Fuji had great talent.
Yeah, I love.
But yeah. No, but this match was great. A little quick storytelling with the LWO. Yeah, Ray should have probably jumped in a little earlier, but that's just good guy logic. I'll let that slide. They just kind of do that. But yeah, this is definitely the match of the night. Billy Kidman, Juventud Guerrera, can't go wrong with them. They have a couple matches on line already. I don't think this match is here yet. Maybe by the end of the year, it'll be on the vault. Not the whole
Mhm.
show because it's certain wrestlers in it, but you can watch like a bootleg version of it. That's up there. There's a couple bootleg ones up there. But no, I enjoyed the match. I really enjoyed the match.
Yeah,
And the LWO storyline. Although like Rey Mysterio ends up repping the LWO like 2 months later when they get disbanded. But go figure.
yeah, and then he represents them in WWF to take on his son Dominic.
Yeah, and they're still kicking on AAA.
Yeah, good. Yeah, see, it's still going. So Eddie's the man. All right. So really quick before we get to Scott Steiner versus Rick Steiner, throughout the show, they're like, "Where's Hogan? Where's Hogan? What did Hogan want to be in the Battle Royal? Where's Hogan?" So in November of 1998, Jesse Ventura became the governor of Minnesota, and I don't think we talk enough about how that shook some of the old guys. It shook Vince, shocked him. He like basically forgave Jesse and went back into business with him because I think he did not expect that to happen. Jesse
Hmm.
Ventura, his first open statement when he wins is we shocked the world, and he did. And I think it really shook Hogan. Because
Yeah.
shortly after this, Hogan goes on the Tonight Show and talks about Jesse winning the governor race and goes, "I'm going to run for president." And also about this time is when Hulk Hogan starts wearing feathered boas, which he never did before.
Mm.
And after Jesse Ventura becomes the governor, Hogan rips that off from him, and he goes to the end. He had a feather boa on that Netflix Raw, right?
I believe so.
I never liked the feather boa because it just felt to me like
Some
I'm mad that Jesse Ventura did this, and I'm gonna rip him off. It seemed very like petty because Jesse has made no bones that he didn't like Hogan, and I
yeah.
think it really shook them because Hogan. And apparently, according to Bishop, he was serious for a moment about running for president. And it was a weird moment. So that's what they're alluding to. That's why you don't see Hogan in the ring. And then by January, he gets over it because I think he probably sees Jesse Ventura wins and immediately gets bad press because he can't keep his mouth shut. And I think Hogan is like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Like, you actually have to do things.
Yeah.
But I think when
If only everyone thought that way.
he won, it ate Vince. So other thing is by December, WWF has a VHS documentary out with about Jesse Ventura, mainly with some of the old guys and Gorilla Monsoon doing the talking heads. So
Mm.
right, it went from who like we're never gonna mention this guy again to oh yeah, we love Jesse. Like they really it shook them. It shook them. Do you remember when Jesse won?
I do. I didn't really know any of the fallout from it. Like I only really knew him from tapes. Not even wrestling. Like, he did the commentary, and I know there was a bunch of tapes and stuff where his like likeness is just not on it. Like they just had to remove him completely from commentary. I just remember him winning and be like, oh, that's cool. And like Will Sasso would impersonate him, but I was way over my head back then.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I remember the VHS tape was rushed out, but I got it. I wish I kept it. It's only 45 minutes, but it's kind of like it's kind of like one of the final things Gorilla ever does on camera. I probably should have kept it because he died, he's dead.
Mm,
All
yeah.
right, so that's why, and we're gonna talk more about Hogan being absent and what they're doing with Hollywood in a second. But up next is Scott Steiner versus Rick Steiner. The match doesn't start again and whatever. But what makes it really interesting is that Goldberg comes out and lays waste to Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell, and the crowd is going nuts. And I was like, kind of surprised, like, wow, they're already having Goldberg just beat the shit out of Scott Steiner. But I'm not entirely certain they knew what they had with Scotty yet. Um, uh, Again, Goldberg gets the pop of the night. I mean, this crowd is like not just awake; they're on fire. I mean, they're dead. I mean, they're watching Sonny Ono. They're they're
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
they're in the Billy Kidman Juventud match a little bit, but like they're not like in it. When Goldberg comes out, it's they're like, let's fucking go. And so I guess this has the best finish of all the Scott Steiner Rick Steiner matches. So the crowd is actually invested at the end. What'd you think of this? I just kind of think this was a Nitro angle that didn't need to be on pay per view. But I mean, the crowd loved it.
Yeah, it was get Goldberg on the show, and that's all that mattered. It is a little weird now seeing Scott Steiner get kind of so squashed by Goldberg. Like you said, they didn't really know what they had in him yet, and obviously he proves them wrong, and he proves a lot of other people wrong. But this was just get Bill on the show and get him on the show and let him look dominant for the thing that we're gonna have later. And hopefully this is the end of Rick and Scott Steiner as
Yeah,
opponents.
it is. There's not another Rick and Scott Steiner match on pay per view.
Thank God.
Could have been money, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Next up, Scott Hall versus Kevin Nash. Now, Scott Hall comes out. When the NWO walks out, Scott Hall, you're like, wow, it really is just all losers. Like they really don't have anyone good left in the NWO Hollywood. Um, whatchamacallit, Scott Hall, Eric Bischoff goes, we're going to do a survey, and then he orders Hollywood to beat up Scott Hall. So yeah, let's get rid of the one guy who's actually good in the group. So they all beat up Scott Hall, including Horace Hogan. You need Horace Hogan in your group. You're taking over WCW. You want Horace Hogan on your side, not Scott Hall.
Of course.
They're beating him up. Kevin Nash runs out, saves him, and then the crowd does something that I found interesting. They start chanting "outsiders," which I didn't know you could chant that, but they do it. They make it work somehow. But big ups to the Palace at Auburn Hills. Some that is a very outsiders outside.
Yeah.
And it sounds epic. And they're looking
It's
at
like
each
those
other.
video game chants, like in Raw or Attitude, when you would get
Yeah,
the cheer and they would be like Ahmed Johnson. Yeah.
yeah. So so I'm looking at this and I'm like, because Nash's argument is, I had to beat Goldberg because I was over, and it's like, okay, yeah, you are over, but I think now was the time to do you and Hall as baby faces, as a baby face team. And I think if you stuck at being baby faces, I think you can get away with beating Goldberg. It's all about how you
Hmm.
follow things up, and they don't really follow up. But Hall goes to do too sweet, and Nash goes no, and he leaves. And look, if you don't know what's going to happen in December or January, like, oh, this is interesting. Like Nash is just going to forgive Hall. They got to work towards it. Well, we know what they do, and it doesn't like knowing what in less than 2 months what the Wolfpack and Holly would do at the Finger of Doom. Like, why would you beat up Scott Hall? You're not fooling. Like, is all this done to fool Goldberg? Like you know what I mean? Like, who are you trying to
Hmm.
fool? Because I know that Nash and it just, and then you think of yourself. So you win the World War III Battle Royal, then you agree to lose to Hogan like that. Like, it's all, if you try to apply logic to it, it doesn't make any logical sense. It was a cool moment, and I definitely think like they probably should have just had Nash and Hall be faces at this point and figure something else out. Especially, as I think it's the only way. The way they do it, it ruins Goldberg. But what do you think of this quick little angle?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more intrigue to come. They just wanted to add more on Nash's now path to the main event. Add an extra wrinkle in there. If I didn't know what was to come, I would have been really excited about it. I'm like, yeah, oh my God, they're gonna reform. But that's not, obviously we know that's not, it happens, but in a weird way. And we'll talk a lot more about Nash winning next month, but yeah, this was just the start of it. I think it's another thing that you gotta kind of throw logic out the window, where they're like, we're gonna make this long plan for months to screw Goldberg over, and nowadays they would connect all the pieces together, similar to like TNA did with the Aces and Eights like years ago. I'm sure there's more of a more recent example, but that was actually a good thing TNA did. So they would connect all the pieces together, but we didn't have that kind of storytelling in 1998 for WCW. But no, overall, the segment was cool, especially if you like Hall and Nash. Kind of hurts throwing a rewatch because you know that it's going to go very, very far south.
Yeah. Speaking of very, very far south down the road, we have Bobby Duncombe Jr. versus Chris Jericho. I could have swore that in my memory, Duncombe won this match, but Jericho wins it. I actually thought this was the second best match on the show. Bobby Duncombe Jr. has kind of been forgotten about. He dies, I think, in 2000. So he dies when
Yeah,
ECW is still in business. So it's very soon, and he's just getting started here. And I kind of like the guy in the ring. Jericho really busts his ass to make this guy look good. His work rate reminds me of Hangman Page and JBL, like a hybrid of both guys.
yeah,
And I thought the match was pretty good. Crowd doesn't care. They haven't really given. I remember back they just had Bobby Duncombe show up on Nitro, and they kind of did. They almost kind of gave him like a 1, 2, 3 kid, like he beat Jericho out of nowhere, but they don't really do it to
hmm
establish him. And he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But I thought this was a pretty good match for him. I was like, oh, this guy was better than I remember, and I enjoyed. And obviously Jericho has his working shoes on. It was a pretty, and Ralphus is here, and when Ralphus is there, that's 5 stars automatically. Um, I enjoyed it. What'd you think of Bobby Duncombe Jr. versus Jericho?
yeah. That was a good match. I thought uh, they were really, it seemed like they were trying to make something out of Bobby Duncombe Jr., giving him not just a match with Chris Jericho, but a long match with Chris Jericho. Something to get people invested in him, which did not work out until I guess when he joined the West Texas Rednecks. I think that's when people care a little bit more. But no, I thought it was a good. It's a good credit to Jericho, even though he may not have won it that at the time. Good showing for Bobby Duncombe Jr. and Ralphus. So it's definitely, if you're watching, if you're choosing some of the matches to watch back, I would watch that one. And right as of now, I'd watch that one. And I'd watch Kidman and Juventud, and you can skip the rest of the show.
Okay, up next is the final World War III Battle Royal. Now this is the fourth one. Now that I've seen all four, I can tell
Hmm.
you this was by far the best World War III Battle Royal they ever put on, and it was still a piece of shit. Um, so it had a lot of. You only watched 97 with us, right? You didn't watch 95, 96, or maybe on your own
Yeah.
time. Have you
No,
watched 90?
I've watched all of them in life, but I remember 95 is the infamous "It is what it is, brother" with Hogan and Savage going
Yeah.
after Savage won. I think 96 DDP wins.
No,
Oh,
Giant
they said the Giant wins. When the DDP, I'm thinking the Battle Bowl. Um, 97, I forgot who won.
7. It's Scott Hall.
Oh yeah, that we literally watched that. Yeah, then he doesn't get the shot and all this other dumb shenanigans. And yeah,
So
and now 98, his buddy Kevin Nash.
the production of these matches have been a mess. 95, they had all three rings on camera at once. They had six announcers. They didn't tell
Mm,
you what ring was what. They didn't have it on screen. First of all, the two things they do great in this match from a production angle, and literally this takes them from 95, 98 to figure out, is they have the number of people in the match on one, and they tell you what ring the camera is focused on the other.
yeah,
Helps a lot. And the other thing they do is they have Nash basically eliminate the entire his entire ring right away,
yeah,
which is great because then you can focus on the stories in the other rings and the story you're trying to tell of Nash being dominant works. And it's a little weird that Van Hammer gets a lot of the shine at the end of that, but hey, man, at least someone's getting some shine. I mean, at least Nash is putting someone over. I'm going to squash Wrath and Goldberg, but I'm going to give a little bit to Van Hammer. Okay, good. I'm glad we're really. But
I love that Van Hammer.
that also works out great because you're not staring at three blobs of people. You right away you use one of the rings to get over one guy, which is great, and then you slowly, and then the second ring, Giant gets rid of everybody. So then you're just focused on one ring for most of the match, which is fine.
Yeah.
Um, Bam Bam comes out and Goldberg comes out. The funniest thing is, 1996, the NWO is this evil company, and they're interfering, and it's so funny that like now it's 1998, and the NWO and WCW and the Wolfpack are like, oh no, Bam Bam, get out of here! You don't work for our companies, and it's like, hey, remember when the NWO was the evil invading fact? And now Bam Bam seen as some Looney Tune. But then Goldberg comes out because, Bam Bam was attacking Goldberg on Nitro, and he attacks him, and the crowd goes wild, and Nash is standing there being like, I'm going to ruin this because this is horrible. And Nash wins. He eliminates Hall and Luger. He wins. I'm glad they got rid of it, but they did finally figure out a lot of the production snafus that were rooting this show. It took them years, but they finally figured it out. But I'm glad they got rid of it. This is it. This is the end. Do you ever miss the World War III concept? I don't. It's funny. No one has any nostalgia for this shit. What did you think of the match?
I liked it when I was a kid, the three rings, but in reality, it's just kind of stupid to have the three rings. I think WWE they've done two rings for the War Games. They haven't done a battle royal, to my knowledge, with two rings,
Yeah, no,
but they've done yeah, the World War Three is three. You couldn't even make like a good toy out of it. That's three rings. It's crazy. Yeah, they did, but they made, but that's two rings.
well, no. I was saying like if you did a World War III mode in WWE 2K, it'd be really
Oh,
cool.
2K. Oh yeah, yeah. It would be like one of those like Fall Guys where someone one of them goes and a new one pops up and things like that. But yeah, this the match was what it was. They got rid of everyone really quick. A lot of people that I like, which sucks. Somebody went out and I was surprised that they went out so early. I think it's just my like Royal Rumble.
Got thrown out off camera, which was weird.
Who did?
Scott Steiner gets thrown out of the ring off
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, yeah, which is weird. Using my I guess Fed pilled WWE brain and just how people treat the Rumble or can treat the Rumble. I feel like if we had a couple extra, like Rey Mysterio went out like the 20th person, like they needed 20 people in the ring. They got rid of Rey Mysterio. I'm like, Alex Wright's still there. And I know why, because they do a little big spot later. But it's just like you could have made people, which I know didn't have that much time, but you could have at least tried to make some people. And that's probably my only gripe about it. My like big gripe. I mean, we already know what's going on with Kevin Nash. So yeah, they gave it to Nash. The final three were him, Hall, Luger. Maybe you could have delayed the Hall turn and maybe have him embrace, but or try to embrace, and Nash walks away. But it wasn't too offensive. It just was just kind of there.
Yeah, like most of the show, we're just kind of there. So, all right, now to
Exactly.
the main event. So
Here we
my hypothesis when I remember that this was the main event of this show was it's been a year since Montreal. Vince has recovered. Vince is still using Montreal in storylines. Vince has just used Montreal to get The Rock over. A lot of people stopped liking Vince as a person. I don't think Vince gave a shit. Vince is thriving. Bret Hart has not had a good year. His matches are questionable at best. He seems half-hearted. He's had matches with Booker T, Mr. Perfect, Sting, and they're all not good. And you can't Booker T, Sting, and Mr. Perfect are some of the best, and they're not good.
Yeah.
DDP just had Goldberg's best match a month ago. So my challenge, my theory was that if Bret Hart cannot have a great match with DDP, his career was already over. He didn't realize it. He wasn't the Bret Hart that he was in 96, 97. And I'm kind of half right. This match is fine. It does
Hmm.
not feel like a main event. Bret Hart still feels like he's half-assed. DDP's trying, but and the finish is bullshit with the brass knuckles and the fake reps. The crowd's not that into it.
Yeah.
DDP gets the win with the diamond cutter, pins him. I still think the match is good, but it's not. It's not what Bret Hart could have done with DDP the summer of '97. It's not what Bret Hart could have
Hmm.
given DDP in '96. It's almost feels like DDP has to keep him moving, and which is sad because that shouldn't be the case ever. Um, I think my theory is correct. I think he's been broken by Vince. He's been broken by Montreal. And he's going to be further broken, but we'll get into that as we go on. But yeah, the match was okay, but it's not at the level of Bobby Duncan. I mean, it's not at the level of Bobby Duncan versus Jericho, nor is it at the level of Juventud versus Kidman on this show. I don't even think it's at the level of Mankind versus The Rock over in WWF. So, or Candido versus Lynn.
Storm. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
Lynn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it's like, man, you're Bret Hart, dude, and you should have proven them wrong. And I don't I you know the more I watch Bret Hart in 1998 WCW, I don't blame Vince for what he did or telling him to go because his spark is gone. And I don't know if the spark leaves him because of once Vince does. Maybe he's having 9-star classics in 98 WWF. But I mean, you watch this, if you're a Vince McMahon, you watch this match, you're like, I think I did the right thing because
Mm.
I don't think this guy can give me what I need because he's not giving Bischoff what he needs. And you can blame Bischoff, but if I'm Bischoff and I'm seeing that he's not putting in the effort that other people are, I'm like, why am I even pushing this guy?
Yeah.
And it's fine, but it's not that good, and it's kind of sad. It's sad, but I think you want to like Bret Hart, and a lot of people try to rewrite history in real time, where they tell you that Goldberg wasn't good, and Bischoff ruined him, but it's like you didn't give Bischoff much to work with. So, what do you think?
I think I mean like I said, I think the match was all right. I wish it was a little slower than I would like it to be. When it comes to Brett, yeah, he's virtually 99.9% checked out. He still has good matches every now and then, like this DDP one. And I have to look at the and Booker T earlier in the year. I have to look at the rest of the WCW catalog. I know he disappears from May to December, May to November because of reasons, but sad reasons. But yeah, I think Brett was just in a tough place mentally. I don't think it harmed the match that well. I think also putting this, and they've just like the second or third time they've done it, putting a match after the advertised marquee match, people are gonna lose interest. People cared about the Battle Royal. They cared about World War Three. They do not care about Bret Hart versus Diamond Dallas Page right now because you just told everyone World War Three is the biggest thing that happened, and now you have this bonus match that no one gives a shit about. So I'm gonna put some of that on them and some of that blame on Brett. But also I don't know who the fuck that ref was that they have with them. The NWO ref, he looks goofy. But besides that, no, Brett's still not hurting my book. Like it doesn't take away anything from me for Brett in my book, even if the WCW run was not as good. When it comes to Goldberg, obviously he was over. And I think that revision, I don't like that revisionist history for anyone because when people are like Triple H was never good, Undertaker's never good, this person, there's like Edge was not. They were getting on Edge this week because Edge was not a marketable draw. Like nobody bought a ticket to see Edge, and people are always saying that shit when they don't have anything to say, and they're just like, "Well, what about the numbers? You didn't give a fuck about the numbers. You're watching it. Like, why do you care about that? Are you on the accounting finance team? Then you don't need to know about the numbers. But unless they're like cooking books, which they're not, to my knowledge. But overall, I think Brett definitely he was still carrying Montreal with him. Maybe not going to WCW right away could have fixed that. Maybe going to a New Japan if they were able to work out a deal with ECW, something. I think something to get Bret Hart's spark back would have helped instead of kind of throwing him into the Lions Den and just kind of keeping him there till he got hurt.
Yeah, the worst part, Ken Shamrock was in Lions Den, so that really fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Overall, I think it's a good snapshot of WCW in 1998, but it's not that good of a show. I think it's better than Halloween Havoc, but it's still not that good of a show. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely better than Halloween Havoc. If you want to watch something, watch Kidman Juventud. They have other matches on YouTube, so you can also watch that. But Kidman Juventud, if I had to pick one, it would be Kidman versus Juventud.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Now let's go with the next 4 weeks. Next week it's Capital Carnage '98, UK only. It's Steve Austin versus Undertaker versus Kane versus Mankind. And in two
Crazy.
weeks, it's Rock Bottom '98, Steve Austin versus Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. Then in 3 weeks, it's Starcade '98, the
The
beginning.
one.
It's Goldberg versus Kevin Nash, and then in 4 weeks, we're in 1999 finally,
Mm.
August year. This year's going to take a really long time to get through. The main event of that is Shane Douglas versus Taz. What are you looking forward to?
You know what? Capital Carnage. I don't really watch these UK pay-per-views. I know nothing crazy happens, but let's see what happens. I haven't been there. Is that the one where Jacqueline's boobs come out?
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, I know it's not gonna be on the network, but that's how I know it. I guess maybe I should watch it uncut. Let's see. See if I can find. Don't say that, Kyle. But it's I used to have the like the AVI. Remember AVI files? I think I
Mhm.
used to have one of those that somebody put on like a website, and I just had it. I definitely don't have it anymore, but I did have that at some point in time. But yes, Capital Carnage it is.
Yeah, well, it's one of the greatest. It's going to be one of the best matches of your life.
Oh
So,
yeah.
okay. I'm looking forward to Starcade '98 because I got a lot to say about that show. That show really aggravates me. And then I'm curious about ECW Guilty as Charged '99, which is one of the few later ECW pay-per-views I've never seen.
Mm,
So I'm interested in watching that. Um, all the other '99 ECW shows I have seen in the past. So I'm interested in
yeah.
taking it. So it should be interesting. We're going into 1999. Just so you know, 1999 has 12 WCW pay-per-views, 14 WWF pay-per-views, 6 ECW pay-per-views, and the Heroes of Wrestling, which we're covering.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so that's going to be the longest year of the podcast. 2000 will be longer. We'll have more shows. But yeah, and then 2001, everything radically changes. But we'll get to that when we
Oh
get
yeah.
to
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about the other one, the Wrestling All Stars. Like I said
I
every
mean,
week I learn what we're doing.
Heroes of Wrestling. Yeah,
Heroes of Wrestling. Sorry. See, I don't even know the damn name.
the
That
wrestling
the
paper in
that's not the
America.
Jake the Snake one, right?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, we got a long. We listen. We got a lot.
We got a lot to cover before we get there.
Yeah. All right, Kyle. You got anything to plug?
It's the stand next week, the June 20th, 6 p.m. character select comedy. And I'm headed to the bar after because my birthday is the 19th. Doing all the celebrations on the 20th. Hopefully, we will also be celebrating the Knicks. We will find out. Just looking forward to that. And then June 27th, 6 p.m. I mean, 5 p.m. Actually, 12 p.m. Look at me, I keep pushing up the time. If you love Pokemon, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. is going to be the Pokemon card that you're doing a bunch of Pokemon card stuff if you're a card collector. From 5 to 7, it is the Bro Talk. 5 to 8 is the Bro Taku event hosted by me, and the game of choice will be Pokemon Champions, and comedians will be in the back commenting and roasting and doing what we do best, while you guys can do what you do best and go on and play Pokemon Champions and maybe win some money.
Yeah. And as for me, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a comment, rate and review us. it's been going pretty good. I'm really enjoying this little era that we're in '98, and having a lot of fun looking back on these shows, even when they stink, even when we're
Well,
watching.
now there's no stakes.
But
Now there's no stakes. You can just kind of watch it.
yeah, I just noticing the mistakes that they're making, especially WCW. So yeah,
Hmm.
stuff. And yeah, so next week we're going to cross the pond to the UK, see some Jacqueline, and we'll see you then next week on the show. Thanks everybody.